Hey folks, it's Marvin Cash, the host of The Articulate Fly, and we're back with another Southwest Virginia fishing report with Matt Reilly. How are you doing, Matt?
I'm doing great, Marvin. How are you?
I'm getting there. I know you're excited. I know you're excited because the muskie bite's been heating up in your neck of the woods.
It has been, yeah. And just, we've been getting a few to eat. It's been pretty, it seems like slow getting going just because we've had, low clear water for so long, and it still is. I mean, it's really low and clear right now, which, just kind of, you think about, sort of your typical predatory fish circumstances, higher water with a little less visibility, what most people are looking for to streamer fish in, that helps with muskie fishing just because, it seems like it gives them a little bit more of a confidence as a predator to eat and be out in the open. So we're supposed to get some rain here, I think Friday and Saturday. Nothing too crazy, but maybe a half to an inch of rain. So hopefully that'll kind of kick things into gear a little more for us.
Well, that's great. And how's the trout bite?
Trout fishing's been good. The creeks have been low there too, but, we've been catching plenty of fish. I mean, I was out today and caught a bunch, just, nymphing, primarily what we're leaning on this time of year. Throughout the fall and winter, we get some blue wing hatches, and we get some, on the South Fork, the Holston here, we get a blue quill hatch later in the wintertime, which can be kind of cool, but, I lean really heavily on stoneflies and worms and midges and stuff like that this time of year. And then some sort of, the suggestive stuff that you're always throwing, like Frenchies and pheasant tails and hare's ears and that kind of thing. But I've been leaning a little more on, certain rivers around here fish really well with an indicator just because of the structure of the river and how the pools and runs are laid out. But I've been leaning pretty heavily on just tight line nymphing here lately just because I have a little more confidence in it when things are low because you're not, splatting something down on the water. Then things like yarn indicators and stuff like that are a little more stealthy too. So that's what I've been doing the last couple weeks.
It sounds like a lot of fun. Can you help our listeners understand, when you say there's some water that's good for indicator fishing, what that means?
Yeah, it's a good question. So, obviously you can, the two main ways that I nymph, and I think most people do, is either high sticking, you can get technical and fish, Euro style, like some people do. They can fish some sort of, on the water indicator. And I grew up, outside of Shenandoah National Park, mostly fishing brook trout, where you have these high gradient streams with small pockets and short drifts. And that kind of water really is good for, it's not the best for indicator fishing just because you're usually going to get your takes pretty quickly after your flies hit the pocket. And sort of, just the nature of indicators, if you toss, your flies with an indicator into the water, you're not going to see the strike in the indicator until your fly is tight with your indicator. So if you're fishing really short drifts and sort of turbulent small pockets, indicators aren't, in my opinion, the best way to go. But some of the creeks down here, they have these long, glidey runs that maybe they start as a shallow riffle and then they drop off a couple feet and, go another 100 feet downriver before they tail out and then dump into the next piece. And they have a fairly consistent depth and not a super fast flow. So, you can fish an indicator, which allows you to suspend your flies from a distance and get a longer drift, keeping those flies in the strike zone for longer versus, if you were trying to tight line nymph, you're suspending your flies with your rod tip. So, your drifts are going to be a lot shorter and you're going to need to be a lot closer to the fish. And, so in that kind of a situation, I find indicators to be a little more useful, but, that's just my personal preference. And you can do it either way, but, again, when the water gets real low, I tend to avoid fishing indicators and kind of just try to be real stealthy and fish closer to me and avoid putting anything on the water like that other than my flies.
Yeah, no, I hear exactly what you're saying. And, when in doubt, you can always go the New Zealand yarn route too.
Yeah, that, the Pat Dorsey method with the dental bands and the macrame yarn works real well too, but, and you can make, the New Zealand ones too. I believe you can make them as small and tight as you want to. And they're all pretty, have a very small footprint on the water.
Absolutely. And, folks, if you have a question for Matt, if you'll send it to us on the Articulate Fly Facebook page and we use it, I'll send you some Articulate Fly swag and you'll get entered in a drawing for some Matt Reilly flies and some coupons for some Reilly rods. What are you working on writing this week for the Rural Virginian, Matt?
So coming out tomorrow, I've got an article that is just sort of like an essay type story that I wrote about basically how, my girlfriend fishes with me and she seems to be able to make things happen when they shouldn't. So basically it's about how, you shouldn't make any rules in fishing. You should never say never. Because this time last year we were out on a local creek and I was shooting some photos for a gear review for Rock Treads, which is like a boot stud system. It's a company that was founded in Bristol, Virginia, so it's a local company. But I didn't bring a net or anything with me. We just went down and I was trying to stage some shots, and she wanted to fish a fly that was broken, and I would have thrown it away. But on like the third or fourth cast, she caught a 19-inch wild brown trout that I never saw coming. So it's just kind of a funny story that I put together. But that'll come out today or tomorrow, and I'm trying to be better about putting those on my website. I've gotten kind of lax about that, but I guess you've been finding them somewhere, but they occasionally pop up on the Rural Virginian website.
Yeah, I just search them there, and sometimes they're hard to find, so I try to get the links and drop them in the show notes for you.
Yeah, they're pretty decent about getting them up on the website, but not everyone makes it up there, so no worries if you can't find it.
Absolutely. And before I let you hop, why don't you let folks know where they can find you so they can go chase muskie with you this winter?
Yeah, the website is mattreillyflyfishing.com, and all my contact info is on there. So however you feel most comfortable reaching out, look forward to hearing from you.
Yeah, folks, you should get out and, sneak a day in before Thanksgiving, and maybe you can go sneak a day in after Thanksgiving too. Tight lines, everybody. Tight lines, Matt.
Tight lines, Marvin.